and relax. Slight technical issue there before we started, but yeah, we won't go into everything's working now. Fingers crossed. Welcome once again. Welcome back to the Synth Network live show. If you're a first-time viewer, thank you for joining us, and thanks to everyone else who comes back. I don't know why you do. It's episode 173. We are live. It is about 4 minutes past 7 p.m. here in the UK and 4 minutes past the hour wherever you might be in the world. Welcome along, and I hope you've had a great week since we last met. And yeah, let's crack on, I suppose. I mean, there's not a huge amount of news this week, so we're just going to be doing a lot of old man waffling, I'm sure. But apparently you like that sort of thing, because you keep coming back in your droves. Thank you. I just want to say thank you to everyone that's donated over the past month. We had a bit of a bumper month in terms of donations or advertising or whatever. So that will all go into the kitty to help keep us on the air. And maybe we can go back to Super Booth next year. And this time we'll take one of those little iPads on the little wheels, and we'll have Kent with us as well. He'll come round in a virtual mode or something like that. I don't know. We'll do that. Or a number of cases of wine. Yeah, maybe we'll do that at Christmas party. Wine. So before we do anything else, let me just remind you, of course, that if you like what you see, click the thumbs up button. If you don't, click the thumbs down, whichever you feel. There does always seem to be one person who always clicks the thumbs down. I don't know if it's the same person, but every show, when I look through the stats, there's one dislike. So I'm assuming it's the same person. I don't know. If it is you, I'm sorry. You don't have to watch if you don't like it. But hey, thanks for watching anyway. You can also comment during the show using the chat facilities in YouTube and on Twitch if you're watching on Twitch, because we're also on live there. We're also live on Twitter. You can't comment to us through Twitter. Of course, you can leave comments under the feed, but we don't see them until much later on. And you can also comment if you're watching on Facebook as well, because we're across all four of those platforms. If you're watching on Catch Up, then you can leave your comments below on the YouTube channel, or you can come and join us at the Facebook page, which I'll tell you about in just a moment. Please do, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. That helps with getting our thing into algorithms and stuff, and share us around. We're like your mother. So yeah, if you want to do all of those things, that'd be fantastic. If you want to make a donation, you can do. There's the PayPal address. Of course, you can also use Super Chat or Super Stickers. You don't have to. This channel is completely free of charge. We only keep coming back because you pay for us to keep coming back. And so there you go. It's all your fault. We are across all social media, or most of social media. I'm still trying to get threads sorted out for the Synth Network. It's not. I don't think at the moment it doesn't allow you to manage multiple accounts. So because I've already signed up with my personal account, I then have to do this kind of signing out and signing in again. It's just not worth it at the moment. So until then, we'll stick with good old Twitter, or X, as it's now called. Maybe we should. Maybe I need to update that. Instagram, we're over there as well. We're on Facebook, which of course is where the main group is, and of course right here, where the bulk of you are, on YouTube. All of the handles are at Synth Network. If you have any comments to make, any questions to make across the duration of the show, just stick a big capital Q in front of it so that we can pick them out and stick them into the comments bucket, and then we can come and address those as and when. Right, housekeeping is out of the way. Let me see. How should we do this? Well, let's start. Let's start with. Oh, I don't know. Him.
Oh. I was all right. I was just shocked at the. Nice
back.
one. It was that super chat came in just as you went over, and I was like, "Whoa, who's that?" Stephen Smith. Thank you very much.
We'll come to Steve. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's great to be back from my finally set up studio here
from Casa Ben.
Yeah,
whereabouts are you?
Sunny Merseyside now.
It's a little bit closer to Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm in Merseyside. It's not too bad so far. Just dodge the burnt out cars in the morning. I can get to work okay.
You got a tree then?
You got trees outside. You must be in a nice posh part of Liverpool.
Yeah.
Or Merseyside.
It's lovely where I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really nice.
You call them trees, we call them firewood.
Actually, that's what they call them up there. How the bloomin' heck have you been, though? I mean, what have you been up to since last we saw you on this fine channel?
I've been hibernating, really. They just wake me up for gigs. Yeah, just lots of gigs, really. Been everywhere. Done gigs up in Scotland. Did a lot of festivals over the summer. It's just been mad busy, so things are calming down a little bit now. So I'm hopefully gonna be able to make the show. Who's this guy? Hopefully make more show sessions than ever. Hopefully,
yeah. I mean, crikey, you got to earn your keep. Jeez.
Yeah, no, yeah. I've missed it. I've missed chatting with everyone, and
we've missed you. Everyone's missed you. So welcome
lovely.
back. It's good to have you back, mate.
Thank you very much.
Good. Before we get all emotional and stuff. Let's go. Let's come back down to the south of England. And oh no, I've done the wrong thing there. There we go, Mr. Kent Spong.
Guten Tag.
Hello, how are you?
Studio's looking good, Kent.
It's
Looking very nice.
looking very nice, isn't it? Yeah, I wish it
Well,
worked.
it would be if
But
the
there you go.
tiles stayed up.
Oh yeah, who had J7?
You have won the
There
prize,
will
the
be a
tombola
check
this
in
week.
the post. Yes.
So
Yes.
you've been noodling with Emulator 3s and Jupiter 8s. Amongst other
might
things.
Have been. Yeah. I took delivery of a CS80 today.
Another one?
Yeah, another one. But this one was in a flight case that was big enough to hold 2 CS80s.
Wow.
Who thought that was a good idea? So we couldn't get it in the house. So we had to take the 80s out and then wheel
my word.
the flight case round to the back garden and lob it over the fence.
Blimey.
Yes. So.
But you've been busy?
Oh God, yeah. Ridiculously.
Somebody had a birthday in the Spong household,
They did.
and it wasn't you.
They are now officially old.
Uh-oh.
Old.
They're 37.
Again.
We wanted to wish her a happy birthday yesterday, but you didn't do a pub. I'm assuming because you were busy celebrating.
I fell asleep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did she have a lovely day though? Did Miss Fiona?
Oh
have a
no,
lovely
she had a
day?
great day. A lot of presents and stuff
Good.
like that, and cuddles from the dogs.
Oh,
The usuals.
the usual.
And found something to moan at me about,
Of course.
which I'll let
What
her
you're there
have
for.
with good grace because it's her birthday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, from all of us, would you wish her a very happy birthday for yesterday?
Absolutely.
Send her all of our love. Oh, yeah, go on. Yeah, go on. It's
no,
not.
no,
It's
no,
not
no.
doing it now, is it?
Hang on. Let's push tab.
Here we go. Look at that.
Oh my lord.
Original 1973 VCS3 with DK2 keyboard.
That's proper, that, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's only caught fire twice, so I think that's
Only twice.
a result. Yep.
Excellent
Absolutely.
stuff.
Okay.
I've been sticking pins in it, and so far all we've got is a German radio station. But we're getting there.
Good. Excellent stuff. Good to see you, mate. Thank you for coming along. And finally, in this lineup of utter and total reprobates, it's Mr. Andrew Longhurst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a wanker.
Oh, sorry, wrong button.
That wasn't me, Andrew.
Yeah, you see that.
Yeah,
Was it
you
me?
say
Was
that.
it Ben? Was it Ben? Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really tired today though because I've been having to do lots of repairs this week.
Okay.
The bars were bent back and the door had been broken. Someone broke out. You know, I'm not going to say who,
okay.
but someone broke out. So I've been having to fix the case. You know, I'm hoping to go out and catch them. It's a bit like The Chase or something like that, where I'm going to have to find whoever it is that got out. But yeah. Apart from that, good week.
Good. Excellent. So you've been doing some outside location filming.
A little bit of
sorts of
outside
photos.
location filming and some trips down to Poole in Dorset, which was lovely. With meeting one of my partners and then editing-y things and lots of following up lots of leads like you do when you run a business. So it's good. It's all good. Yeah.
Good
Very
stuff.
very good.
Excellent stuff. Well, thank you for coming back once again. Of course, thank you for standing in so often, and maybe we'll just make it a permanent thing. I don't know.
You poor things.
We could do that, yeah. There we go. Let's all go fours up. There we are. There we go. Before we do anything else, I need to say thank you, first of all, to Steve, who goes under the name of Xorb or 2Xorb or whatever, I don't know. But thank you for your donation. It's most appreciated at $4.99. Then, of course, we have one of our wonderful moderators, the others being Andy Synth Addict and Ben from Musines. But Mr. Andrew Brooks, we don't make you donate, so don't make it out like we do. But thank you. It's much appreciated.
It's lyrics, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a gun in your hand that's pointing at your head. West End Girls. There.
Right, okay.
Simon Greatbatch.
I was in a quiz last night as well.
Oh, there you go.
Simon Greatbatch.
Thank you, Simon. Mr. ModiX eMommer does his entire eMom on a ModiX. And my experience with the ModiX tells me that that's not an easy thing to do. So well done. And finally, Mr. Grumpy Bastard down in Australia, Stephen Smith.
Funny cricket.
Well, I mean, they won the Ashes by the two greatest words in the English language: default, or rain. But we're kicking their backside today. So yeah, there we go. But thank you, Stephen. We love you,
She's
even
right,
though
mate.
you're Australian. We do love you very much. So thank you. He knows I'm only joking.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you to everyone that has donated. You are all superstars. We love you lots, and we really, really, really do appreciate it. Right, okay. There's not a huge amount to talk about other than Ben's return this week, which I'm sure we'll get onto, just like chatting a bit more about where he's been and what he's been doing and what he's up to, because I've seen your gig schedule, mate. I wouldn't want that. It's it's not good. Where shall we start? Shall we start with a bit of AI and do a bit of grumpy old men? Let's do a bit of AI. AI. Now, I haven't fully tried this because I can't be bothered to get my MacBook out because it only works on Apple Silicon and above.
No, it works on Windows.
Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, what's that?
Windows.
No.
Yeah.
I think that's the
Never heard of
area.
it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's another one.
The thing that's next to the door. Okay, well, I haven't tried it on Windows, but I tried it on an old Mac and it didn't like it, so...
You tried on an old Mac?
Yeah, I tried on an old Mac. It didn't fit, so I went, way! Right, so this is the next big thing. No, it's not a big thing. This is a thing that uses AI, and it's called text to sample. The premise is here that you type in a phrase, a prompt in AI speak, and you say what you want, and then the AI generates something completely new based on your prompt, which you can then, if you like it, you can extend the duration of it, you can take it, you can sample it, you can do all sorts of stuff with it, and it's called, quite simply, text to sample. Why don't we have a look at exactly how it works, because that might kind of give you an idea. That's it. That's what you get. You type something in, it spits something out, and then you can take the audio file and use it however you see fit. And it's free. It's completely free. pretty good job because I wouldn't pay for that. However, I haven't had a chance to use it, but a colleague of mine did, and was his comments were rather derisory about what it was actually putting out. But
Would you like to see it working?
Go on then,
Yes.
do that thing.
Here we go. Let's do a present if we can. Share screen. There we go. And window. That one. Share. There it is.
There we go. Right.
So,
Let's think of some terms.
think of a term that you like. Think of something. Just think of a musical term. Anything.
Skiffle rave.
Skiffle rave.
Go
Okay.
on, do skip. I've got a better one, but go on.
And I'm just going to make it 3 seconds rather than 5, so it's a bit quicker. And here we go. Generate. So now
Yeah.
you can see it's taking its time. And what we should end up with, I've got a whole bunch of examples here, which I did earlier, just so you could see the quality. Here we go. Are we ready? Skiffle rave.
Can't hear it. It's probably just as well, really. When you shared
Right.
the screen, did you share audio as well? Or have you
I
got the
will-
audio being piped in?
Did
I
it
will
sound
do
good?
it.
Did it sound good? Yeah.
Let me just try it one more time to see if I can get the share screen. Where's the share? Share tab audio. Yes, I've got that. Share tab audio. Sample share. Entire screen.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's try that. Share system audio. There we go. Just 1 second.
Okay. Oh.
Ha ha ha.
That is Skiffle Rave. And here, just in case you were wondering, is what Opera returns. Hang on, I'll go to the right one. Yeah, that's opera. Choir crescendo. Yeah.
Neither a choir nor a crescendo.
Plucked tuba solo. So let me stop sharing that now because
Yeah, would you?
I would rather cut my own balls off.
I would go based off that. I would say it was wildly inaccurate.
Yeah, I was going to suggest dubstep seagulls, but I probably wouldn't. So yeah,
This is a random. It's a random. I mean, we know it's beta. They're doing it for free, and maybe it's useful to someone. But what's worse than the fact it doesn't get anywhere close to anything you put in? Although maybe it will as time goes on. The sound quality is absolutely awful.
yeah.
And it's just not. It's not great. Not there yet. As it stands, completely. I don't understand the point. I mean,
Well, it's, maybe.
but
if
it's
we
a
think
research thing, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, if we think about it in the way that we talked about, say, Korg's VR gadget, it's a step. It's the first step, and it's not a very great step. But it's, if that does turn into something where the results are accurate, then you can see maybe some use to it. But this is what bothers me a lot about this, and I don't like calling it AI because it really isn't AI. It's artificial, but it's not intelligent, not by a long stretch.
AI is constrained by the data which it can learn from.
Exactly.
Right? And that's the library. I can't remember what it's called. The library is not something I recognise particularly, and I've done a lot of this stuff in the past, or worked with lots of people. Kurt Tiverson, who worked with Eno and various others on generative music. And this doesn't have any of. It looks like the pool it's drawing from just isn't that good. Maybe it'll get better.
This is one of the things that does bother me. And I was speaking to somebody earlier this week where we got to talking about AI, and they said that the most important thing right now is that the content that people are using to teach these algorithms and applications to grow their databases is coming from real people, real musicians, and those people are not necessarily being remunerated for that. and they should be, because if an AI then starts producing music that's based on Ben Simpson's compositions, Ben Simpson needs to be paid, needs to be recognised for that.
Listening to that, I think it was. Yeah.
You see, we've missed this. We've missed this.
Yeah, this is it.
But this is where I think the first pitfalls of AI or this kind of thing are going to arise. We could end up making the same mistakes we did with sampling, not understanding all the legal ramifications and implications. Same with digital music and streaming, and the whole Napster thing. If we don't get on top of making sure that human beings are protected and properly, rewarded for their stuff.
Here's a thought that, and I'm sorry, I know Kent's got to come in yet, but here's a thought. Talking about this, the reason that Napster and LimeTree, was it? LimeWire, thank you. The reason that those apps succeeded was purely and simply because people were willing to pay for music, really willing to, but they weren't willing to have to subscribe to 30 different record companies' archives at the same amount each time to be able to find the thing they wanted. They just wanted the convenience of searching one term and it popping out something. The record companies and the publishers are the people that actually created the whole issue with people not paying, people, piracy, essentially. They did that by not making it convenient. The same lesson needs to be applied here. It needs to be learned here. If you don't make it work in a way that's useful, people will find their own way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Ben,
what about from a creative point of view? How do you feel? How does anyone feel about that? Like that, instead of actually, say if this technology was awesome now, and it sounded just as good as something that you produced in Logic or Cubase, but working on these principles. How do you feel about that?
Is it wildly different from buying Logic and then dipping into the tens of thousands of Apple loops?
Probably not, no.
It's not that. I mean, obviously, Apple loops is a finite resource. It's a big resource. It's a finite resource, and many a hit record has been made from Apple loops.
Yeah.
Christine and the Queens got into a lot of trouble a few years back for quite blatantly, but unashamedly, and without any implications, legal or financial, taking some Apple loops, stringing them together, and then writing a song on top of that. And that's exactly what the things were for. And she had a hit record, massive hit record.
The thing is, that all requires some artistic judgment, right? That does require some judgment. And let's just say, we've had this conversation already a few times, but for the sake of brevity, cast forward a few years when AI is able to recreate any style, any musician, their voice, their instrumentation, the arrangements, right? AI can do that. And there will be AI hits. There will be, right? Let's just take that as said. It's going to happen. No way of stopping that. It's going to happen. The thing is, I don't listen to a song because it has a particular sound. I listen to it because I'm interested in where it's come from, who it's been written by, the context, the point of view. I'm interested in the musician, the person that wrote it. I'm interested in that because they bring to their writing and their music and their arrangement a particular viewpoint that's their lived experience. You don't get that with AI. You can get a simulation of someone's style of writing, but it's not that person writing it. And if I know it's AI, I won't be buying it. Why would I? I'd rather go and listen to Ben when he gets out, from the constraints.
Do you think we'll start seeing, like we did on albums in the 80s, in the sort of early 80s, no synthesizers on this record, or no Fairlight on this record? Because people were slightly ashamed, weren't they, of using samplers, because, it was just like copying sounds and maybe putting musicians out of work, which it didn't. Are we going to start seeing in a few years' time this album, no AI was used in the creation of this album?
If it sells more, if it gets people, if it sells more, then yes, and if it doesn't make any difference, then no.
Yeah. Let's ask our own resident artificial intelligence, Mr. Ken Spong. What do you? Any thoughts on this?
So many.
Gumby.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Go on.
it's.
Let's make him full screen.
Do you have to? There is a saying, isn't there, which says that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, and this is clearly the first step. It does appear to be that your first step is to walk into a dog shit from a spaniel with a stomach condition while you've still got your socks on, but a single step nonetheless. However,
That's going to get snipped as a Kentism.
oh god, another loop. I feel, yeah. But
I can't see that quote being used. I can't.
I
can't see that
they
on-
should.
On official marketing.
Yeah. But the thing is that you look a few years down the road. Say this gets, well, not say if it gets, it will get very, very good. The audio quality will be better. It'll be quicker at rendering out the new sample to you, and all this, and it'll get better and better and better and better and better. And old gits like us will be going, where we're saying, we've got to put down on the record that no AI was used. But the next generation of people aren't going to give a crap one way or the other anyway.
Not sure that's true entirely, but I know what you mean.
I'm talking on a broad sheet here. However, I mean, I can see it, AI eventually damaging instrument development because there won't be as many people buying instruments because they just don't need to. As AI gets better in all the various quarters.
But then, and you're right. But then the question is, why have an instrument? Well, you don't need a piano because we can do piano sample. We can recreate the sound of piano. So why do you need someone to play it? We can simulate Magorsky or whoever, Rachmaninoff. So why have it? And the fact is, we still want to hear the real thing played by a real person, because we can empathise with the performance. We talk often about performance. The performance is everything. You don't get a performance with AI. You get a sound, not a performance. And I think that's going to have a cachet. For as long as we are making art, there's going to be a cachet in people performing music, painting, writing, whatever. No, your skiffle rave band is not safe. It's that Ben's hijacked it.
So it's my weasel fart death metal band. It's really safe. There's no problems there, mate.
Wombat fart stimulator, yeah.
Yeah.
Ben, have you got any sort of like in-depth views on this, or?
I just, I find it a bit weird, like being involved in the graphics side of things. When you go on Adobe Stock now, it's like 50% of the images that you look at are AI generated already, and you can see, you can tell. The quality of them is really good, but I just like look along and go, oh, that's AI, that's AI, that's it. There's something about them that you can just tell. So this is gonna. I reckon. I would have thought that audio was easier to do than visuals. I mean, they're doing like video files and everything now. I would have thought that was much harder, but who knows? Yeah. I think we've just always took shortcuts, haven't we? I mean, the piano keyboard was probably some kind of shortcut to get.
Oh, there was probably outrage when that came out, wasn't there?
Yeah, it's like, how can we get to the result quicker? And that's basic. That's been the basic premise of music technology, really. How can we get this quicker? And there's nothing really quicker than describing what you want and it coming out. But the craft, the learning the craft. The developing new techniques and getting excited about that. I suppose all that, if this is the future, which I know it is early days and it is very dog shitty, like Kent said, but
it's one future. It's one future, and there are many.
It makes you wonder where everything's going to end up. But again, it's just another shortcut. But the only next step from that is straight out your head, out the speakers, isn't it? That's the next step, really.
I don't really want to be hearing what's going on in my head at the moment. very good.
Yeah,
But there we go. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, this in itself is a free plugin, and it's pretty pants. But it will get better.
At the moment.
At the moment, yeah, it will get better.
I've got a question for Ben. Ben, you do the graphics thing. I'm doing something with Adobe at the moment, and I was on the Behance and graphics files part of the site earlier today. All of it, the 50% you're talking about, the thing is, it all looks the same. It all looks like it's been crafted by the same hand. It's got the same polish, the same color palettes. It's very. I was struggling to find something that was different, that would stand out, because it all looked really similar, all of it.
Yeah, that's the danger, isn't it?
That was something I've said it ages ago, that I some people I follow on Facebook were saying, have a look at my AI art, and all they've done is they've typed prompts in, and albeit they're detailed prompts, but they call it my AI art, and you didn't draw a single thing. You type some words in and something came out at the other end, and that's what you got. And it's going to be the same with music. This is not your AI music. This is just some computer generated sound that's been created from a prompt. And I'd like to hope that humanity understands the difference.
Well, here's the thing, right? For years we've known that these things, sorry, bang the microphone, these things, they can take photographs and they can now take brilliant photographs. They can take fantastic video. They can record things. They allow you to, use synths and do all sorts of stuff. And so everyone that uses them and thinks that, not everyone, an awful lot of people think that being able to take 500 photographs and one of them is kind of okay if they crop it, reframe it, and use a couple of tools they don't know what they do to make it look pretty. They think they're a photographer. And the same with music, and the same with art, and the same with writing. All of these disciplines, you can have a random or a one-off thing that works. What makes a career is people that are able to repeat that process again and again and still come up with good stuff. So every time they do something, it may be different, but it's good, it's valid. Yeah. That's where it all falls. Everyone's got one hit song, one book, one photograph in them. Being able to do that another time, that's what makes it a career.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have tremendous hope.
I have hope. Hope that this dies a horrible, painful death in fire. But no, it's inevitable. It's going to happen, and we've just got to try and keep the control over it and try and make sure that whoever is exploited, because there's always going to be someone or something that gets exploited. That if it's human beings in terms of source material and teaching material and whatever, that they are properly recognised, and there's a mechanism put in place sooner rather than later to make sure that they are, because it's very soon people are going to be taking artists' work and feeding it into algorithms and software, and what comes out is going to be a derivative of that, and people just won't get properly recompensed. But there we go. So if you want to give it a go, and based on the demonstration we gave you today, you probably don't, but if you do, the links have been placed in the chat. I'm sure that they'll get placed again, because they're very good like that, our moderators. And it's samplab.com, so samplab.com, and then it's /text-2-sample. You can download the plugin, and it works as a standalone as well. And yeah, you can generate stuff to your heart's content, and if you come up with something good, let us know. There you go. Right, let's see, what shall we do next? Let's get back to something innovative and interesting. I'm not gonna play the whole of this video, but this is kind of cool. cut it there because we're already a minute into it. It's quite enticing. I really like it. This is from a company called Soundstone. Sorry, not Soundstone. Let me get this right. It's I've just shut the page down. Here it is. It's the string harmonica, and it's from a company called wait for it. Macabre Electronics. Now they already do a thing called the Soundstone, which is a guitar sustainer and allows guitar players to mimic the sounds of synths or flutes or cellos or so on and so forth. It's kind of a bit like an EBow, but it's not. And what's happening here with this instrument, which is called the string harmonica, I'm not dropped the H there, it's just AR monica, is actually a synthesizer underneath that is exciting the strings. So it is electromechanical. I know what I'm talking about. It's electromechanical, and it requires a synthesizer underneath to generate those tones from the strings on top. So it's a little bit more complex than just magnetic vibration or something that's exciting the strings. There's stuff going on underneath. Now, the thing that you saw on the screen there is very rough around the edges. You can probably see it's scuffed and sort of bolted together quite haphazardly, but they do assure us that they are working on a completed kind of production model, but it's probably going to be some time yet. They don't even have a price for it, and you need to go and fill in a web page somewhere to register your interest, and they'll get back in touch with you once they've figured out how much this is going to cost. I fear that it probably might be a little pricey, but what a wonderful way to, if we've often thought about where, what's the next big thing in synthesizers. Now, bearing in mind that at Superbooth this year, Korg were there with an electroacoustic mechanically type thing that was wowing a lot of people. This is kind of along the same sort of lines. It's not identical, but it's similar in what it's doing. It's taking electronics and mixing it with physical acoustic stuff. Thoughts on this? I thought it sounded lovely.
It does sound lovely. I think you're right in what you're saying there as well. It is that, again, it's technology. The technology is getting to a point where anything electronic, or especially digital anyway, can just be replicated on a computer. So I think you will get manufacturers looking at something like a more out-the-box kind of idea, and I think like where this is actually incorporating real strings, real resonances, and that, and Korg was doing it like you were saying with their stuff. I think it's not the total future, but I think this will definitely be an area that we'll see more of, like electro acoustic kind of.
Yeah, because it's not
devices.
been massively done before, has it? Electromechanical stuff like this. I mean, the way how they explain it works is that they say it works differently than a guitar sustainer. So with a Soundstone or an EBow, it resonates a string regardless of its tuning. In order for the string harmonica to correctly work, the strings must be tuned so that they match the resonant frequency of the internal synthesizer. And by adjusting the tuning pegs, you're able to voice the loudness of each octave, and you can make certain octaves louder than others or of equal volume. So it's an interesting idea. Other gentlemen, any thoughts on this? Kent, can you see having to repair some of these in the future?
Yeah. Well, definitely the woodwork. But when people, sort of like throwing it about on stage, we're realising it's not guitar, is it? So, yeah, I've seen something similar to this many moons ago. They are quite expressive. It's an interesting route to take. Again, at this juncture, I think there's a market for this.
Yeah.
Obviously, it depends on how much it is.
Well, yeah.
But like anything in a wooden box, probably be expensive. So.
Yeah, because it's likely to be handmade, isn't it, rather than a bunch of components stuck together.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, Andrew,
I'd expect it to be around the price of a Rhodes, I think.
could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
A Colossus of Rhodes.
Oh.
So
Try the fish.
when they say a synthesizer, I think one has to treat that with a little bit of caution. So, as far as I can tell, looking at the way it works and how it's working at the moment, it may have a sound-generating sound source underneath the string somewhere, maybe generating sines, maybe generating sawtooth, pulse, whatever, and you could switch between those, and then you can increase the level or reduce the level to, I would imagine, cause the magnets, which were the pickups, to resonate the strings as well. I'm not sure if it's actually resonating the strings with sound, because that would imply speakers or some sort of something on the box that's resonating the whole box. I don't know if that's what's happening, or if it's the strings being resonated.
It says that nested within the body of the instrument lies a polyphonic synthesizer which outputs notes that resonate the strings and their octave harmonics.
That's the thing. That's the sentence that I'm kind of curious about, because does it resonate the box? If the box is resonating, then the strings will, presumably. Otherwise, is it just resonating the strings by essentially doing the reverse of what a pickup does, which is inducing a magnetic, a shaped magnetic waveform across the strings so they resonate? I mean, that's kind of where I'm with it. I'm not quite sure exactly how it's doing it, but what does occur to me is it's a real budget job. It's a totally budget job, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure
I've heard anything that makes me jump out of my seat yet, but I can see how, if you were to be able to control the timbre of the the shape of the waveform, so you get harsher timbres and then smooth, more rounded timbres, like between sine wave, pulse, tooth, sawtooth, etc., then that could be quite interesting, because you could change the quality of the sound by changing the waveforms that are being injected in. It's an interesting thing. I'm going to be keeping my eye on it. It's not there yet, but I'm certainly going to be keeping my eye on it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's just nice to see somebody taking a different approach. And the first thing I thought of when I saw this was the thing that Korg, I forget what it was called now, that they showed at Superbooth, which we didn't get to see, did we? Because they were only there at certain times, and then you kind of had to book an appointment. Really, they had a little gypsy caravan, didn't they?
There was a weird instrument in one of the the bungalows. At Superbooth, and it was almost a bit like violinish. I don't know if you remember it, and that had a controller keyboard in front of it as well. I think it might have been in the where the Gemini thing was. Udo.
Oh, right.
I think it was in the Udo one.
I know that there was the Hackman guys were next door. And they had the Osmos and some weird stuff going on there. But no, I don't remember seeing that. But it doesn't mean to say it wasn't there. But
I mentioned it to Michelle, and Michelle Moog, and she knew exactly what it was and everything, and it was like, well, it's a new one on me.
The thing is, I remember with the Polymoog, it had the resonator section, didn't it, Ken? And you could, I'm not sure how long it would take someone to essentially come up with this as an electronic thing. The fact that they're doing it electromechanically is interesting. Whether or not, at whatever price it comes out at, is going to be sufficiently different and performance related that people are going to want to rush out and buy it, I don't know, but it's an interest. It's interesting. It's certainly very interesting. And so did the Korg, by the way, didn't it? The 31s, 32, 33, they had resonators.
Big thanks to James over at Synthtopia for that story that I picked up on, so I just want to give him credit where credit is due. There's no actual kind of website for the string harmonica, so if you want to go and learn about it, go to synthtopia.com, and James has got an article up there about it. That's where I got the video from. So it's an interesting thing. We should be watching that with great interest.
It is interesting, definitely.
Yeah, indeed.
It is, yeah. Mad enough to want to have one just so you've got it.
Absolutely. So there you go, string harmonica from Macabre Electronics. That's a play on words or not. Let's see. Now, before I do anything else, just want to do a little bit of shameless self-promotion. I want to kill two birds with one stone here. First of all, my latest podcast for Sound on Sound is out now, and it is with the wonderful Dina from the Alan R. Perlman Foundation. Finally managed to get this out there. I've been waiting for a while to get this one into your lug holes, but it's there on the Sound on Sound podcast website. The other reason I wanted to mention this is, and it's the reason I did this, if you are a friend of mine on Facebook or acquainted with me in any way, there is a birthday fundraiser that I'm running this year, just to raise a few bits, a few quid for the Dina Perlman Foundation, the Alan R. Perlman Foundation. Dina hasn't got a foundation yet of her own, but yeah. So I did post it up in our Facebook group. So if you want to donate, £1 is fine. A tenner is fantastic. Whatever you want to donate, that would be fantastic if you could get me to my £250 target. We're almost there, but if you want to do that, that'd be amazing. So yeah, pop over to our Facebook page, and I've put the link up in there today, and that would make me very happy on what is a completion of one of my trips around the sun. So there you go. There's that. Right.
Good podcast, but I like that.
Thank you.
It's a good thing. And I did
Loads
donate
more
today. I forgot.
Thank you very much
but I did
indeed.
today.
Thank you very much. I know Kent has already, so that's fantastic. Thank you all that have already donated. Oh, look at little Noah. Is he all right?
Yeah, been to the vet today. And he's read. Yeah. So he's been on a special diet.
Yeah.
Because of these bad legs of his,
Mm-hmm.
and his little deformed front leg. And I said, "Oh no, he's 7.5 kilos. We've got to get that down to at least 6, and it will also be better for him so he can move around more."
Yeah.
So he's been on this strict diet, which we've followed to the letter. And he went and got weighed again this morning, didn't you? And he's 1.5 kilos heavier than he was to start with.
Brilliant.
I think this fact
on the
is going down
though,
the
isn't
chippy
it?
at night when nobody's looking.
Yeah, he's got a secret stash of chorizo.
Yeah.
Because he's Spanish, you see.
Yeah, you like your paella, don't you?
Spatio.
Yeah?
Vita
Chris
Scarlatus. Yeah. Oh, bless him. There you go. So there's a bit of a doggy interlude for us all. He is a full-figured pup. Well, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a fat git, you mean? Aren't you?
What about the dog? Not enough about me.
No, don't go there.
No,
Don't
steady
go.
on.
No.
Steady. There we go. So, what should we do next? I think this is. I don't know what to say, but so I'm not sure if we did this on the show already, and whether we talked about this or not. But I'm going to talk about it now. But I have to. There's a bit of a disappointment attached to this, but let me first of all play the promotional video.
You're about to hear just some of the sounds that can be produced by the world's first
electronic drum kit.
the Simmons. The Simmons is capable of an infinite range of percussion sounds, limited only by
Your imagination. We can go from
this to a set of African log drums. The Simmons kit is portable, dynamic,
easy to amplify and visually stunning. It quite simply brings drums into the 80s.
we're going to stop it there because it goes on for a bit. There is some, for me anyway, there is something quite exciting about the sound of Simmons drums. I don't, it just evokes particular memories of popular music back in the day. And the reason I played that is because it is this new updated version of Ali James Lab's VSDSX, which is his emulation of an SDS V or 5 or whatever you want to call it, and a whole bunch of other stuff thrown in for good measure. So you can do all of the sounds, all of the the kits. You can even upload your own EPROMs that downloadable from the internet and have those sounds being triggered from within this application. It's a plug-in. It works as VST3 audio units, 64-bit PC and Mac, universal. It's all been updated to work with M1 and M2 Apple Silicon, and is a mere €50 to buy, which I think is a rather good price. Now I've got his Lindrum, which is called VProm, because he did call it V-Lin, I think, and Roger got a little bit perturbed, so he changed the name. Now I thought, look, I can't remember whether we spoke about this before, but I bought this week, and I bought it yesterday morning, so that's Thursday, and I still haven't received my download link and license. So I can't. I was hoping to play and demonstrate it, but I can't because they haven't sent. Well, Ali hasn't sent me the license. Now,
whoops.
Well, that's a shame.
It is a shame because I know that Ali's a one-man band, and he's doing it, but his licensing method really needs to be updated, because this whole thing waiting for an email from someone with your code is just, it should be automated as soon as you pay. He's got my money. He's had it for a couple of days now, and I still don't have a product to play with, and more importantly, a product to show you, which, of course, there might be some people quite grateful for not listening to some Simmons drums, although I really do have a kind of a soft spot for them. So anyway, I was just wondering if you'd had a chance to look at this, and I guess nobody else has downloaded it or got their license code for it. But Ben, as our resident 80s performance artist, shall we say, any thoughts on this? Do you like this? What do you use for Simmons drums in the band?
Yeah, I love the sounds of Simmons kits. I just think for that synthwave thing, it is synthwave, isn't it? It's just perfect. And from what I can see of this, it's a stunning recreation of it. It looks as though it'd be really useful. And for £50 as well, it's not bad, but you don't want to dwell on it, but you'd expect it to be instant delivery.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect to have to wait for somebody to spot your email in an inbox.
Exactly. I mean, I've been checking throughout the show, because I did email Ali earlier today and said, look, is there any chance you could just get it to me before this evening? But not a thing. And you could very well be on holiday, and that's fair enough, but how do you run a business like that? I mean, it's what do you use for these kinds of sounds at the moment anyway?
Samples, really. I've got all kinds of sample libraries of all kinds of crap, so I will use samples, but I don't know, that seemed a bit, it's probably just the production of it and that, but it seemed to have a lot of punch in it, like more punchy than the samples somehow. Yeah. So
well, it's modelled, on the original hardware, and without. Well, I suppose I'm going to shut up. I was going to say something, but I won't. What it doesn't give you, as Icing the Body Electric pointed out in the chat, it doesn't give you arthritis in the wrists, because playing those pads was bloomin' awful. I remember having a go on a kit, and after a while, just my wrist and my forearms were just aching like a mother. So not very pleasant. So it was nice to get those sounds without the pains.
You could connect this up to your thingy as well, couldn't you?
Exactly, and this is why I'm really frustrated that my E-drum kit is still stashed away. Who didn't want a Simmons kit though back in the day? Those drums, they looked amazing, didn't they?
I got Roland's one. Do you remember Roland made a rip-off one?
Yeah, they were hexagon, but they had 3 long sides and 3 short sides, didn't they?
Yeah, it was like a triactinol or something. Yeah.
I have no idea. Yeah.
But they sounded great, I thought. But again, they were horrible to play. I'm not a great drummer anyway, but I was even worse on them. It was like hitting worktop.
Yeah, absolutely. It took a while to get that bit right, but thankfully they have done in recent years with mesh heads and stuff. But yeah, I would like to give these a go on that. But yeah, even today, I mean, if somebody offered me a proper Simmons kit, I'd have their hand off if it was a decent price. Kent, do you what do you think of Simmons drums? Is this something that would float your boat? And from a technical repairing perspective, do you get many of these units, the drum brains in, or even the drum pads themselves?
Yeah, well, it's the repairing, restoring, servicing of said units that made me hate them with a passion. They are awful things to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, back in the day, it's all like, oh, yeah, look at that. Yeah, we could have drums, in the bedroom studio.
Yeah.
Without waking up, Mum was asleep in the next room kind of thing. Without realising, of course, that it was the equivalent of hitting large buckets.
Yeah.
And, so, they were always incredible. When it was interesting, they were cutting edge. I mean, they were expensive.
They were.
For me, anyway. They're awful to work on. So I welcome any form of VST version of this, so that people don't try to get their brains repaired and just throw them in the skip where they belong.
It's interesting that that their first kind of proper use was by this band, Landscape, mainly because Richard James Burgess was one of the co-inventors. Basically, he worked. Sorry, you get my focus in there. He worked with Dave Simmons, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah. And I've heard tales of, the prototypes just being a bunch of sensors strapped to a plank of wood with lots of wires hanging off and being connected to the brains and stuff. But they did some amazing stuff with those.
Like most good prototypes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
stuff attached to planks
bits
of
of
wood.
Cardboard and
maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Andrew, any loving memories of Simmons drums from your experiences?
I would pay £50, probably a great deal more, never to have to use an SDX, or not an SDX, an SD5, SDS5 again, ever. They were bloody awful. They really were. And the reason they were is not because of the sound, but velocity sensitivity, it was the same level no matter what you did. So there was no finesse. There was no finesse, which meant everything came out, so you had to sort of dial things in. And they fell apart. I used to tour them and have them in studios. They broke so often and in so many different ways. And I just... The really funny thing is, every time I see one, I have to go and play with it, because I'm convinced that I'll actually find the secret formula to making them sound like drums. Right? I'm gonna get that bend just right or not. I'm gonna find a way. What's interesting about this one though is that this plugin does have velocity sensing, which is good, which is really good, because then you can try and make them a bit more like a percussion instrument rather than just a switch. And I loved the SDSX. I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was a wonderful thing. But the 5, I would merrily stand around with Kent and burn the lot in a skip. I just hated them. I hated them. But the sound is iconic. And I think Ben got it right, and he said that in the demo they sound quite punchy. They're punchy because they're on-off switches, so everything's really loud. And the reason your samples aren't is because your samples, you tend to put velocity sensing on them, so that you can get some feel with them, which is why they don't sound as punchy. It's just that. It's just that.
Yeah.
Maximum velocity.
It's maximum.
I really need to
127.
I really need to drug the missus and because That's the only way I'm going to get the drum kit in the house, is if she is not aware of it at all, because it can't go in here at the moment. I'm seriously thinking of changing something around here just to get it in, because it's a crazy waste of money sitting. And then I want to try these.
Could you not put the pads on, Visa mounts on the wall, so they swing round from your monitors in front of you, and have the kick drum underneath? That way you could just bring them in, play them, put them.
I'm actually thinking of getting a new desk. I've been looking at desks this week and thinking I need to, because I've got a couple of weeks off at the end of August, and the first week I'm here, I'm not going anywhere. So I thought, maybe that's the time for me to, properly finish, getting this place still sorted. And maybe there's a way I can figure out how to do it. I don't know. You'd think maybe I could sell something, but I won't.
The ProSynth desk work.
ProSynth desk work, yeah, quite.
There we go.
Yeah. Anyway, Ali James Labs. He does some really great stuff. I mean, the VPROM VPROM is brilliant. If you want, it's the best Lindrum emulation out there, because it's not just the sound. They're not just they're the original samples basically from copy ROMs of the actual EPROMs that you can plug in, but it also has all of the foibles, the quirks of the original hardware. So that slight delay and that cycling waveform for the hi-hat, and it has all of those things that make that Lindrum sound and feel, which is something you don't get out of just a set of standard samples. It's really, really good. And this sounds great, and I've heard lots of good things about it. And when I got the update email, I thought, I'll have some of that. Bought it and get the email that says you should have your stuff within 24 hours, and we're now approaching, we're way beyond. We're sort of like 36 to coming up to 48, because I doubt I'll get it tonight. That's the only little thing. It's the fly in the ointment that
stuff happens. Though.
I know.
He's a sole businessman, and he's doing. I say I'd give 50 quid to not ever have an SDS5 in my life again. I may just doubt it. Does he do a trial on this?
No. Unfortunately not. But there we go. Anyway, Ali James Labs is the place you want to go. AliJamesLab.com. Link is there in the chat. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for that. So, let's see. What should we do next? This one. So let's now cross the Atlantic and go south. To sunny Brazil, to Sao Paulo, and this is an interesting looking piece of equipment from Sao Paulo, from Rico Synth. This is the Mutaka Pro. There's no quick videos on this, so I'll just maybe let's see. Let me show you a little bit of this. Now, it's all in Portuguese, unfortunately, but there are subtitles. So we'll just have a little bit of this, just so you can get an idea for what it is.
Esse aqui é o Mutuca FM Pro. Definitivamente a máquina mais completa em menor espaço que eu já fiz. Depois do Mutuca FM, certamente esse é o modelo que eu mais gostei de ter feito dos portáteis, né? Aqui eu vou dar uma breve passada por ele. Então, inicialmente, como você observou aqui, essa parte digital se diz respeito a esse sequencer, que tem uma extensão de teclado aqui. Mas, tirando isso, o resto é totalmente analógico, soldado à mão, placa por placa, que é colocado assim. Então, um sintetizador extremamente analógico. Começando aqui, por essas seções, ele tem 3 osciladores. Aqui é o filtro.
Ciao.
Oh, and now we've got adverts, so let's get rid of that then. Right. Well, there you go. That was the Mutaka Pro, and looking at it, it just makes me smile. It's a nice looking thing. There's something about sort of vertically aligned synthesizers, and the fact you've got like arcade fire buttons as the keys. Talking of vertically aligned, over to Kent's right is probably the first vertically aligned.
It has a little bit of.
It has a little bit of that about it, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, just a bit.
Without the cost.
Yeah. So
Presumably, yeah.
this is a lovely. It's 3 VCOs, 2 mixers, a filter, noise generator, 2 ADSRs, VCA tube distortion, stomp box converter, digital sequencer, and comes replete with MIDI in and MIDI out. Now, let's see. I can't remember how much it is.
There isn't a price.
There isn't one, is there? No.
And the reason is
He builds them to order.
He builds them to order. You
Yeah.
can't get one from his shop. He builds it to order, so you have to email him and have a conversation.
I imagine it's not going to be particularly cheap, especially with import duties coming all the way from Brazil.
$5 grand.
$5,000, you reckon? Yeah, it could be. Yeah,
Plus
it could
shipping.
be. Yeah.
Plus
But
import
later on in that video, it does actually get into eventually some fairly decent sound mangling stuff, and
Yeah.
the sequencer is pretty. And it's got the Russian valve. Russian valve. It's got the Russian valve to schnongle the sounds up a bit. It's a good. I wouldn't mind one. I wouldn't kick it out the house. I'm not sure I'd spend $5 on it, but it's a lovely thing. It's just completely different, and it's got a great sound to it. And it does have some great cross mod.
Yeah, and I do like that little VU meter. I think that's I love that. But yeah, I mean, what a great sounding thing and a great looking thing. It almost that orangey effect makes it look a bit like a movement drum computer, or the second movement drum computer.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
it really does sound amazing. Kent, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it looks pretty sweet, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it's not going to be cheap, but then it never was going to be cheap. This kind of boutique building, it's impossible to be cheap. Building to single order makes it even more expensive. But yeah, it looks great. It's got the sequencer, it's got a little keyboard on it, 3 VCO and all the rest of it. I mean, it's got
And
more
the Russian
stuff on
tube.
it than
Don't forget the Russian tube.
the Russian tube. It's got more stuff than the VCS3's got. I mean, that's a 30 grand VCS3 over there. I mean, for Christ's sake, all right, it hasn't got EMS written on it, but sounded fine.
Yeah.
Sounded fine.
And if you're a collector of these things and you want to stand out from the crowd, clearly it's gonna be different. If I had the money, if I was collecting, if I had lots and lots of money, I would buy one, definitely.
Yeah.
And I say, make it do something that no one else's does.
Yeah, it's a lovely looking thing.
It is.
And it's a synthesizer you can just sit down at a desk at, because it's right there in front of your face.
There's something very ETI about it as well.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on, but
Looks like a submarine control panel or a fighter jet.
Oh, that looked good. Yeah, I sunk your battleship.
yeah, torpedo in the water.
It looks like something out of a 1980s episode of Doctor Who, doesn't it? It's like, that'd be in the background. That.
Yeah.
Not even disguised.
Tiddlywinks, anyone?
Yeah, no, it's a lovely looking thing. Ben, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'd need to see more. I'd need to see more of it in working. It sounded all right. It was just nothing really made me think, like, come on, hurry up, get this out there. Like, I need this. There was nothing there like that. But it's a useful enough box. $5 grand.
Well,
that's how much
we're putting dollars in the mouths of the developer there, but we don't really know what it's going to cost. But
and it's worth listening to going through the rest of that video.
It's about
because
half-hour video.
It does have some really good gnarly sounds.
There
and,
was some.
and the sequencer is amazing.
Yeah, there was some like unison kind of stuff going on, like syncing oscillators or something he was doing, and it sounded massive. It sounded really big. That was that was the only point really where I thought, I like this. Yeah. But one to watch out for again, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, his stuff comes on high recommendation. A lot of people that I know that are into sort of like modular, semi-modular stuff, rate his stuff quite highly. So yes.
Reminded me of a Macbeth of the M5.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
actually.
absolutely.
Reminded me
Yeah,
of Macbeth
has
a bit.
something of that about it. Yeah, let's hope it is a good price, and then maybe we'll see some of those in people's studios. Right, that's the Mutaka Pro synth. The links are there in the chat if you want to go for one of those. But it is recosynth.com, R-E-C-O synth.com, and then just look for the Mutaka Pro, and there it is.
And have a look.
Have a look, have a play. Right, let's see. So we've been championing this company, or I certainly have, for a while, and I just wanted to make everyone aware of 2 new updates. So we all like Sonicware, or I do anyway, and the guy behind it, Dr. Yu Endo, has been starting this new project where he's doing his own little designs on a sort of custom basis that doesn't come under the Sonicware branding yet, although I'm told that if this is successful, this is his first product under that brand, it will actually go into the full Sonicware catalogue soon. So when they initially announced this, they said we're going to make 200 of these, get your pre-orders in, and we'll start shipping them out in October. They all sold. There was such a demand that they said, okay, a week or so later, we've managed to secure a further run of another 50, and they'll get shipped in November. Those sold out. There was still demand, and so just the other day, yesterday in fact, they announced a further 50 in the run. So if you weren't able to get hold of an ELZ1 Play, there are now 50 more, although probably less since I called this webpage up, that could be pre-ordered now, and they will ship in December. It's $599 US. They will ship out sequentially. So if you've got your order in on the first batch, they'll start coming in October, November, then December for the others. And you might recall that they, before they did the second batch, at the beginning of July, they said vote for either a physical modeling string engine or a shimmer reverb. And if we hit those 50, whichever ones gets the most votes will go into the unit. And they hit the 50, and the one that got the most votes was the physical modeling string engine. So that's going to be put into the unit. Because they sold out of those, they've decided, do you know what, stuff it. We're going to add the string reverb, and they've already put a little video that demonstrates exactly what that sounds like. That's enough of that. So you're going to get a shimmer reverb, as well as the physical modeling strings engine, which they agreed to put in once they reached that first 50. So everyone's a winner basically, and you can still get a pre-order in now. If you get one in now, it's going to come a little bit later down the line. But cracking little bit of gear that the ELZ. I mean, the ELZ one on its own original one was pretty special. This one is just kind of taking it on to another level. Ben, we haven't had you on for a little while. When we announced this, you weren't around. What are your thoughts on this? Are you impressed by it?
Hearing that there was a lot better than the first demos I saw of it. It sounded really nice there. I was thinking, yeah, it's got like loads of character about it, and I can see why you would use that. Yeah, so it sounds nice. I think the shimmer's a great addition. It definitely added something to those sounds. Then I'm not sure how shimmery it was, but it did do something. It sounded good.
Yeah, it just. I mean, a shimmer reverb, if I'm not mistaken, sort of like just takes the output and then just kind of knocks it up an octave or two, doesn't it, and gives you that kind of shimmer.
Yeah,
for want of a different word, but yeah, it's it's a really cool little thing. I can't wait for it to turn. You've ordered one as well, haven't you, Andrew?
Yes, I'm so excited now. Yeah. I'm so excited. I think Wagoo has. Synth had it. We're just discussing on the chat about getting together and having a convention.
We should do, yeah. I'm hoping because I'm on the first batch, so I can't. I hate wishing time away, but I'm hoping that it comes around soon. Yeah. Lots of new gear coming in at the moment, so that's really cool. But yeah, I was really disappointed because I've got everything else that Sonicware have made apart from the ELZ1, so I'm now kind of content. Although the collector in me will, soon say if an original one comes up, I'll be slightly tempted. You tempted by this at all, Kent?
No.
Okay.
No, and it's not a reflection on the equipment or anything, or the sound or anything like that. It's just that I have got it covered.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No more than that. I have.
Yeah.
I've got more than I need, judging by the amount of dust on some of the stuff. So, besides, I'm holding out for something.
Oh.
Not a Bontempi.
Well, you just don't leave us there with that information.
Well, I'm under an NDA. I can't say.
Okay.
Ooh.
Fair enough. Okay.
Did Yamaha get in touch?
Oh.
I know something that's coming out on Monday.
I don't have a clue.
And I'm actually...
That duplex finally working, is it?
Yeah. I'm actually not excited, but I'm looking forward to this thing that's coming out on Monday. But yeah. And there's another thing that's coming out on Thursday or Friday, I think.
Are these hardware or software things?
Yeah, hardware.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ben's put DX7 Mark III.
Fat chance of that. No, it's I think things are going to start ramping up again as we start to come out of summer and people are coming back off their holidays. We're hopefully, going to see a few more little bits and bobs come out. But yeah, some interesting stuff on the way. And no, it's not a Korg mod wave. Which I'm still, surprised that they didn't, do the Holy Trinity. So yes,
Big Daddy was hidden spooky.
Yeah. Anyway, if you want a Sonicware or Dr. Uendo's ELZ1 play, the website is, and I believe it has been put in the chat, but it's.
I hope his first name's Ian.
It's Endo, isn't it? Endo, because they always put the anyway, Ian.
In your Endo.
Well, do you know, it's funny because I used to go to a Chinese restaurant in the 80s. My dad used to take me there, and the waiter's name was Richard. And I'm thinking, he doesn't look like a Richard, Yeah. So I said, why is his name Richard? Why isn't it a Chinese name? He's Chinese. And so Richard came over and explained that when they come over to England, it's just easier for them, at the time it was anyway, to just take on an English name, and they would just pick a name that they liked, and he just chose Richard, so that's how he was always known as Richard.
Well, it's the same with the scam call centres, isn't it?
Yeah, very
Hello,
true.
my name is Colin. No, I mate.
yeah, right.
Was that Scottish?
I think he was Scottish. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no Scottish people called Colin. Surely not.
Did you know
As if.
that
As if.
the voice that people trust the most when talking to people in call centres, or the accent, should I say, is the Scottish one?
Scottish.
No, wouldn't surprise me none.
Yeah. That's why if you are Scottish, you can probably just walk into a job in a call centre because you've got the voice, you've got all they need.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, dr.uendo.jp is the link you need to go and pre-order your ELZ1 or ELZ1 play.
Thank you, Ian.
Yeah.
What did he do?
Ian Uendo. That's.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. I think I've just got that.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
13 again.
Sorry.
Sorry, I just killed the crickets there. Right. We've only got one more topic here, and it's one I kind of put in at the last minute because I thought, oh, well, you probably get 4 old men ranting about this for about half an hour, but why not? So on Wednesday, the people at Soundgas, which is a company here in the UK that, I mean, what do they actually do? Are they just like a trading company? They buy and sell? Do they
Seems
do
like
any of their
Bit of
They
everything.
restore things, don't they?
Yeah.
That's what I was under the impression. I don't know
No.
how well they do
They
it,
have
but
them
yeah.
restored, don't they? And then sell
Yeah, they
them for-
have them restored, yeah. And then
sell
say
them
they restored them.
Yeah, stick a little sticker on.
Ah,
But one of the other things that they do is they do auctions. And on Wednesday, they did an auction of a deceased estate of what they described as an eccentric music lover. And that was as much as they said. So I don't know if anybody knows an eccentric music lover's studio who went under the hammer. But there was a lot of stuff there. And guess who got lot number 1?
Yeah.
That was me. That was me. And I do now have the complete set of Yamaha QX sequence
Nice.
recorders. Yeah. Whoever they were really, really loved their Akai's.
yeah.
And the S2, the poor old S, I've got an S2000. It's not a bad thing, but they were only reaching, as you can see, this one here got 40 quid.
Wow.
There was stuff. There were even the S5000, 45 quid. It was bonkers. That Lindrum, an MPC 60, 750 quid. I mean, that's nothing. Now, the caveat was that none of this stuff was guaranteed to be working or serviceable. S950, that didn't actually... Well, no, I'm sure that went. I don't know why they haven't got a price there. There was a kitten synth, an octave kitten, 420. Another MPC, a 3000 for $3,000. CS5 for 260. S1000s, for just ridiculous prices. Analog Solutions Leipzig, 340. SB12, that went for 1,200 quid. Another S2000 went for 20. But there were some interesting lots, and this is the reason I brought this up. I mean, look at that S6000 there, 130 quid. It was $2,500 when I bought the whole thing back in the day. It was mental. But drum tracks there for 600 quid. So I think the most surprising sale was the fabled Yamaha CS80. Now I'm just trying to remember. You'd think I'd have
It's
got
on
this up.
page 4.
Is it on page 4? No,
Yep.
was earlier than that, wasn't it?
No,
Oh, shit.
page 4, I thought.
Let's have a look.
Oh.
Oh,
There's
here
some
was-
interesting
Oh, it's
stuff here
page-
now.
Possibly
Here's
page
one.
3.
Oberheim
Yeah, yeah.
4-voice, £30,000. That was an interesting one to watch because it started it started a lot lower than that, about 8,000 or 9,000, I think, and then sort of worked its way up to the mid-20s and then stalled. And on a few occasions, the auctioneer, who was absolutely fantastic, she was a right giggle, said was like, fair warning, hammers up. Oh, we've got another one. And it was just last minute, and it crept up to 30. And I was going, oh, go on, one more. And it finished at 30,000. Fair price for that, Kent? 30 grand?
Yeah, in its own right, yeah, kind of, I suppose, based on what the 8 voices go for.
Yeah.
Was it owned by Phil Collins?
He's still alive. This is from a deceased estate, so... published an IM90 Infernal Machine, 6,600 quid.
Yeah, that's a lot of money,
That-
but
they
it's
are
a great,
hu-
it's a
yeah.
great machine.
Highly sought after. Now, the Mini Moog,
Yeah.
it started and then got pulled for some reason. They just said, "Oh, we'll go past that one," and nobody really knew what was going on with the Mini Moog. It's an RA one as well, 1971.
Yeah, they wouldn't risk putting an RA in an auction.
Yeah. So, don't know why. That was a surprising one. The EMU emulator.
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
Yeah.
Now,
Look at the price
that,
on that.
No, that actually went for 950 quid. I don't know why it's not up there. I know. I just thought, oh, God, if I'd have been brave enough, I would have gone for that. But there you go. I wasn't, and I didn't.
SH5 there.
Yes, the SH5. That was 2,600.
It's the emulator 2 that you want, though, isn't
It
it?
is. Yeah. That's the
That's
one.
the iconic one.
Yeah. Talking of Roland SHs, Alex Ball's brand new video on the SH7 is rather good. He's just put that out, so go and check out Alex Ball's channel. Yeah, so let's find that CS80 because that went
Number
for what
3.
That is on page 3, is it? Yeah. Oh, of course it is.
Get the girls out.
Get the
Big
Possibly
girls on
not.
page 3.
Yeah, look at that. The A3000. I missed that one. I must have gone to the toilet or something because I was thought, oh yeah, I'll
30
give
quid.
that a go. 30 quid
Yeah.
for that. Bonkers.
Yeah.
I almost bid for the kit, the MPC Electronics kit, which went for 260 quid. Which is not bad. But there you go. CS80, lot 137, and it finished at £18,000. Now, obviously, I'm not going to. £18,000 is a lot of money, but I don't believe it's a lot of money for a CS80, which have been going for 30, 40, and more £1,000. But any thoughts on that? I mean, it looks in reasonable condition, but obviously we don't. There are some internals. Where are
Looks
we?
a bit rusty.
Yeah, it looks a little. It doesn't look awful for a synthesizer that is over 40 years old. It doesn't look awful, apart from around the edges of the case. But then it is the case. Look at the stains on the fronts of the keys, though. Internally, I mean that scares me. Kent, I know you know that thing inside out, but that scares me.
Nah. Rubbish.
Look at it. I mean, it's just like everything is. Oh,
Nah,
It's them wiring looms, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
just the way they're all
It just
clumped
makes
together.
it makes it look sort of like like that. But
That
it
looks
actually isn't.
tidy. That looks tidy.
Oh, they all look like that, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I've been asked about this particular unit,
Okay.
and the rust on the front is a bit of a worrying giveaway for it because it's been stored somewhere damp.
Yes, I could see from the internals. You can see it's got
Yeah.
that kind of
And
crustiness.
they said I think they said it about it doesn't make any noise, doesn't make any sound. The preset lights fire up when you turn it on, but it doesn't make any sound whatsoever. And I go, oh, okay, fair enough. And the problem with this is that there's an LSI chip, 40-leg chip underneath the keyboard there, roughly where the second C is at the back there. And if it's gone, that's going to be just something useful to hold the door open on a warm day.
Really?
Yeah, so somebody's paid 18k for that without knowing whether they'll ever actually own an 80.
Wow.
Wow.
Unless they did visit the place. I mean, there is that. That's a nasty little knock just there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's seen life.
Sorry, that looks a bit ropey. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's indicator power indicator LED is missing. It's damaged everywhere. Could I restore it? Yes, but
Would it be cheap?
no, it can't be. I can guarantee you that ribbon controller is in 12 pieces.
Oh.
And it'll need a new ribbon controller
Shame.
spring, but there's going
Looks
to be a
like
lot
part of
wrong
it's-
with it.
Yeah,
Let's-
let's
let's
say
say
it's
he's-
missing.
Yeah, let's say his gamble's paid off, and or her gamble's paid off, and they've bid 18,000 on this, and luckily that element of it that you mentioned earlier is fine. How much is it for to get that looking like the one that we saw at Super Booth? To get that like looking like it's just come out of the factory and everything. What is the total price? I'm just trying to work out whether they've still got a bargain or should they have just gone for the £40,000 one.
Yeah, well, if you go for the full on ones, where Tolex redo the front panels, all that sort of thing, you're looking at 35 grand.
Yeah.
In restoration costs.
Yeah.
Or so that would be
Parts and labour.
53 grand.
Yeah.
The total price.
And the one that was going for 54 didn't sell, and the one that was going for 30 didn't sell either. So, and 18 for that. If the guy's going to break that up for spares, good luck selling them. But yeah, that's a big gamble on that one. Big gamble.
Rev 2 Profit 5 went for 5 grand.
Yeah, it looked like it had almost no decal on it at all.
Yeah, it's like a lot of that has gone, isn't it?
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
resilk screening. Is it a Rev 2 or 3?
Rev 2.
Okay. Good luck, mate. Good luck, mate.
So Ken, what would it cost not to do a full showroom condition restoration? Let's just say that 80 came to you. They just wanted it to be electronically sound and for all the knobs and buttons to work. Forget about the look of it. Just give it a bit of a clean up, and as long as it's working, what would that cost?
Well, if you want it to last more than 10 minutes, the power supply is going to have to be rebuilt. All the CMOS logic has to be replaced. All of it. And the 250 odd op amps that are in it have all got to come out and new ones go in. And if you are lucky enough, although nobody to date has ever been lucky enough to have all the custom ICs intact, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's nearly 500 custom VCAs.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, IG00 151s. You can buy them on eBay. They're between 35 and 45 quid each. If you've got a VCO gone, you're looking at nearly a K to replace a VCO. Filters are about 300 or 400 quid if you can find them, and they're not going to match the ones you've got. It's pushing it. So getting it going, and so you could play it, and it having a degree of reliability, 8.5, 10.
Wow. This is something that people don't consider when they've got like the trigger finger going on the mouse, and
Yeah.
they don't realise.
There's also the issue of, because of all that damp that there has been around the front there,
Yeah.
all the aftertouch sensors under the keyboard are right at the front there.
Yeah.
And they're known to deteriorate quite badly. And it's so it's a what would you call it? A resistor graphite that's on the board. So if there's any breaks in the resistor graphite, you've got no aftertouch.
Right.
And you have to replace that. So what would a synth in this, without knowing anything, what would a synth in this state of disrepair, what would be a reasonable thing to offer for it to take a chance? What would be reasonable?
Probably
$5,000?
Yeah, 5-6 grand spares repair kind of type of a sale, if you know what I mean.
Wow.
But that's in an ideal world. But of course, because it has Yamaha printed on it and it's a CS80, yeah, you know, things are going to run away with you.
Wow.
So this one, I wasn't going to bid on this, okay, because I've already got one. This is a Yamaha EMT10. These were little modules they did. They did the EMT one, which was like an FM preset module, and this was an early AWM preset module that you kind of added to your home organ sort of thing. And I saw this, and I saw the joystick next to it. Now, the joystick, that's a Waco Boss joystick. I know that because that was one of my first joysticks I ever had as a kid with my Commodore 64. Built like a brick outhouse, solid steel bar running right up there. Not very good for doing Daley Thompson's decathlon, but yeah, you could kill somebody with one of these.
Jet Set Willie.
Yeah, Jet Set Willie, it was great.
You're fine, yeah.
So I looked at this and I thought, that little bulge looks a little bit odd, but why the joystick? I just why? I had no idea. So flick through the photos. Okay, well, it's not going in the back. What's going on?
It's going in the top.
It's going in the side. It's been
Oh.
circuit bent.
Oh my god.
I know. Look at that. I had no idea what any of those switches do, and I had no idea what the joystick does. And Soundgas clearly didn't have an idea either.
Well, that's a choice upgrade, isn't it?
Isn't it? Weird.
Really professionally done.
Yes, isn't it?
Yeah, but I need to hear this. I don't know why. It's like driving me mad.
I almost thought, no, I won't bother.
Connects
But
to
yeah.
the preset buttons.
So, yeah,
I think it's going to
very-
sound like this, isn't it? It's going to go.
Yeah, it's not
Probably.
going to be nice. CSO1 went for 140, which is not a bad price. But yeah, there were some interesting lots in there, and some bargains were had. That's for sure.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
Depends on if they're working.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is the thing. I mean, the one that I bought, which was this little thing here, which is the only one that I didn't have in my armory, was the QX7. Doesn't look in too bad. I mean, it's not a huge amount that can go wrong in one of these.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can now tick off that.
I love it.
What's the picture
cassette.
next to this? That Roland sequential computer.
It was the MPC that didn't have the pads, the AS.
The
okay.
ASQ10, I used those a lot. They were brilliant.
Yeah, I like the look of that.
Brilliant.
And it's had
Really
the,
reliable.
Yeah, it had a
the GoTech
GTEC done.
upgrade.
Yeah.
I like that.
But it's like you say, the Akai 6000. I mean, I'd always fancied an Akai 6000, but even at 150 quid, without being able to hear it, and
Yeah.
it's got a disclaimer of, I don't know, it could be full of straw for all I know.
Yeah.
And
And
what's it really worth then?
Yeah, and the thing is, there's so much bespoke, custom stuff on the boards of those things. That
Well, that kind of reflects the prices that they actually ended up fetching.
yeah. What they didn't do though, they didn't actually say that these were non-tested items in anywhere on the page. They only announced that just as we were all about to start bidding on these things. But I mean, this looked. I mean, I think the sign of a not well used MPC 60 is where, unless they've had this replaced, is the leather pad actually still looks intact and is not split or anything.
Yeah.
Or is it leather? Or plastic?
Of course, the other side of that coin is it looks that good because it broke in 1993
Yes.
and has been sitting under a desk
Very
since
true.
then. Unfortunately, is the other side of the coin
Yeah,
in terms of conditions.
but that's
It's
a nice
right
thing.
there.
Yeah.
Thing is, this auction, what surprised me was how little everything went for.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a reflection of people suddenly getting nervous about whether or not these things actually did work, because they all look everything looks a bit beaten up, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
Well, I'm sure I'll find out in the next couple of weeks.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
But
ready.
he really did like his Akais. I mean, there was a lot of Akai samplers in here, rat mount
Yeah.
and MPCs and all sorts.
I'm wondering
of
if this is the ex-BBC guy, but I don't recognise that 80.
no.
Yeah.
Yes, some very interesting stuff. But these things, and
All
they
sorts of bits, isn't there?
they've got another sale coming up, I believe, in September. So yeah.
Did
worth
I
looking
see a
out for.
transcendent filter sweep pedal at the
You
bottom?
did.
Oh,
It went well, I'm sure that sold, but it's just saying here the estimate was 100 to 150, but I'm pretty sure that sold.
It's just a CV pedal, for Christ's sake. Isn't it?
yeah. That's
Jesus
all it
Christ.
is. It's just a CV
It doesn't-
pedal.
It's just a pot
Wow.
Yeah.
in a pedal.
Yeah, I'd say this went for 950.
With or without a library, I wonder.
But
Look at the rust.
look at the rest
yeah,
of
look
there.
at the rust.
It would need work.
Yes. Well, like I said, I got one of them in the shed. It
Yes.
looks a hell of a lot better than that.
It does.
And it has a USB drive upgrade. And it's
does.
upgraded to 8 voice
Yeah.
instead of the standard 4.
How does the USB drive upgrade work on that? Because it's all like molded into the fascia, isn't it?
Well,
you haven't
You
Sits
see at
on
the
there.
top there, you see that? See the recess where the discs go?
Yeah.
Right? You loosen the bolts and pass the ribbon cable through and then screw it back up again.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it
It just
sits
sits in
in
the
there.
box. It sits
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then connect up to the board from there.
But the one on yours, also the floppy drive, it has a switch on it, doesn't it, at the back that
Yeah.
allows you to switch between the actual floppy drive or the Gotek drive.
Yeah. It's got a massive library on floppy
yeah,
disk
yeah.
as well with it.
Yeah. That's
You
how
see
they
that?
make
You
this
see,
work.
I'd have to respray all that,
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
which
bent
means they'll
pink
want me to do
pink.
the heat sink as well.
It's a lovely thing, though, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, there we go. Now, when you consider that only a couple of years later the Mirage came out and it was as good
Yes.
as that,
Mm-hmm.
that was $8,000 for a 4 voice, shows you how far things had come in a very
Yeah.
short period of time.
Oh, sampling just went crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it went very quickly from, the exclusive, nature of things like Fairlights and Sinclairs and all
Yeah.
that, into this, and then of course into what
Akai.
Insonic were doing and Akai. as well.
When I bought my Emu Emulator 1, when I bought that, I think 2 weeks after I bought it, and I think I got it for 2006, and I was delighted I got it so cheap. And then 2 weeks later, the E2 came out, and I went, oh,
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
but it's got a great look, that thing.
Oh,
It does, and it had a great sound,
it
really
sounds
good
amazing,
sound. Love the sound of it.
I always think of that, was it AEIOU record?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
Every time I see one of them.
yeah.
yeah. So some interesting stuff there, but yeah.
Did he give the serial number of the Mini?
Just,
Incidentally.
let's have a look.
1046.
Does it say in the
1046.
That looks in really nice, Nick. Oh, right.
1046?
Yep.
Jesus Christ. That's hand built by Bob.
That's lovely.
There you go.
It's part of the first 50. That's
Oh,
hand built
Jesus.
in his shed. By him.
Wow.
Jesus.
No wonder
That's
they
why it
pulled
got
it.
pulled then.
Yeah, that's why it got pulled.
Well, it was
Worth
weird
about
because
50
it was
grand.
it was in the listing.
Yeah.
What are those switches? What's the switch there?
I don't tell somebody. Oh, don't tell me somebody's messed with it.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ's sake. Oh,
Look,
well.
there's two drilled holes. Yeah. There's.
Yeah, it's
sorry.
CBE. Oh, yeah, modern. It's been done somebody did that to it bloody recently.
Yeah.
Twats. Well, that's just
And
taking
badly.
a chunk off it.
Well, the thing was, it came up. I thought, it was the penultimate lot.
Look at the switches where the
Oh, mate, he's ruined it. Oh, he's fucking ruined it.
oh,
And he's
shit.
put the clear wheels in.
I was going to say those clear wheels aren't an original feature, are they?
No,
I don't think on the first 50 they were. They did come in later, but actually no. No, I correct myself. I think they were clear on the first 50 as well.
Oh, were they?
Yeah. But that was hand built by Bob, and the case is from trees from his back garden.
Wow. Wow.
Because he was really building these buggers on a shoestring.
I reckon.
Has that-
It's an
has that
immaculate
front-
front panel, and he's drilled holes in it.
Yeah.
Got there
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there.
Jesus.
Toss head. Oh, fuck me. He's bolted. Oh, well, that's taking a couple of K off it.
It's them two switches down near the pitch wheels. They're not even lined up straight. It's like one's dead wonky, and it's
Oh, there you go, yeah,
like doing me head in. CD's messed up there.
they're
Yeah.
not lined up at all. Yeah.
The red ones are actually, I believe, on that mod panel, are part of the original on those first 50.
Okay.
Really?
Well, the two red push buttons are, yeah.
And they did what?
Portamento and sustain, or decay, should we say. I think they called it decay back then, because it's only a three-part.
And were they
radio.
momentary or latching?
I think they're momentary, would you believe? So,
But yeah, so when
but the switches make them permanent. They are part of the original. But the little switches actually on the front panel.
Yeah.
That's like taking a piss on a Mona Lisa, basically.
Oh dear. Yeah. No, when that
well.
came up, when that actually, it was its turn, I was like, oh, go on then, let's see how much this goes for, because I hadn't expected it as closely as you have there, and somebody mumbled something in the back because the auction was being done live and we only had the audio, and somebody mumbled something in the background, and then they muted the stream, and then after about a minute or so, she came back and said, yeah, so we're going to move on to the next, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, never mind.
Or it might be a simple case of somebody recognised it.
True.
Oh yeah, there is that, isn't there?
That happens from time to time.
Yeah, I wish it happened with my MKS 80. And a Calrec. And my Rickenbacker.
Well, remember, there's a CS80 out there somewhere that never showed up here.
And my LM1.
That's probably it. What the LM? Oh yeah, the LM1.
Yeah, Indeed.
Oh well.
Yeah, that killed half an hour.
That did, yeah, pretty much did. So yeah, that kind of worked.
Yeah.
So, we've only got about 9 minutes left. I want to
Let's
talk.
dance.
No, I want to talk to this man here.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you keep, boy.
So come on, what have you been up to since we last spoke? Have you been busy? Have you been recording? Have you been gigging? What have you been doing?
Mainly gigging. Just lots of gigs. I've set this room up again. This is working again now, which is a massive relief, really, because sometimes you just feel a bit, when you've got a lot going on, just like a little thing can be quite overwhelming. And so just getting the computer up and running in here was like, it was like 5-minute job, but like I kept thinking, I'll do that in a minute. I'll watch a bit of YouTube and I'll go and set the computer up.
Rabbit holing.
It took me a while, like with everything else that was going on, and then I kicked myself because I said to fill out the band, I said I got everything up and running, and I went up there yesterday and started working on something. Jesus Christ, it was like 9:30 at night before I actually like moved. And I'd just been in there. I've been like trying to find ways of passing time and like stopping boredom. And once I'd finally got round to setting this up again, it was like, wow, I've just like lost like 7 hours. Yeah. Like just writing stuff and, yeah. So, yeah, I've been a little bit out the loop really. But still kept my hand in the live gigs, and now I'm back into the recording and that. I've got a few projects going on with people. I've got the band stuff going on. A band that I used to be in years ago, they want to record some more stuff again, so that's quite interesting.
And Electromantic's gig schedule from now until the end of the year is chocker.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Crazy busy.
Yeah, we're on with Evan 17 again in December, I think.
Nice.
So that'll be... I'll try and get some footage of Martin.
Martin.
Yeah.
We have to get him back on the show, won't we?
Yeah.
So we're just glad that you're back, mate. We've missed you. We really have.
Yeah.
You
I
have
am
been missed
genuinely
by us,
glad to be back. I've enjoyed the show tonight. It's
genuinely
been
glad to have you.
I think it's been quite good that we didn't have a lot of like sometimes
Yeah,
you're just like rapping through the subjects one after
Yeah,
the
yeah.
other, aren't you? It's good when you can mull over like the little
Yeah.
details and that. Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Absolutely,
It's
yeah.
lovely to see everyone again.
Indeed. Well, we do have a bit of news for our viewers. We haven't had a guest on for a little while. I think the last guest we had on was Flo.
Yeah,
Who was
I missed that
absolutely
one.
brilliant. You're gonna meet her, aren't you?
Oh, are you again? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I haven't heard from her. I know she was very close to giving birth, so I'm just waiting. I know she's gone a bit quiet, so I'm hoping.
How long
it's all
ago
gone
was it
okay.
when we played with them?
It was last year, wasn't it?
Oh shit!
I wonder where you were going with that for a minute.
Yeah. But we do have another guest coming on the show, and I am stupidly excited about this one. We have managed to get Anthony Marinelli, synthesizer programmer extraordinaire, who worked on 7 of the 9 tracks on Thriller, as well as composing music for films and TV. And he's a super nice guy. And if you don't know who Anthony Marinelli is, go and search YouTube for Anthony Marinelli, and you find his channel, and also Stories in the Room, which was a fantastic series, and is a fantastic series of videos and clips about how they made Thriller. But he's also on his own channel. He talks about all sorts of other things. Just recently, he had Kevin Maloney on his channel talking about the synclavia, or the synclavia, or the synclavia, however you want to pronounce it. And they were talking about whoops, what did I do there? Where did that come from?
Nothing
What?
happened.
Can you hear that music?
No,
No?
can't hear that.
No.
That's weird. I had music coming in my ears.
It's not a German radio station, is it?
There you go. So
Okay. Oh yeah.
yeah, so
Ah.
Anthony's this really sweet guy, and I thought, look, he's got this incredible channel, loads of people. It's just gone stratospheric, and I thought, oh, he'd be really interesting to get on the show. So I thought, how can I get in touch with him? And I found his website, and he just got like a web page contact thing. So I guess it was going to go through management and stuff. And I just emailed him, and it's like the next day he personally emails me back and says, I'd love to be on the show. Let's talk. So then we had a Zoom call, and we just talked and talked and talked until that point where, because I'm not a paid Zoom subscriber, we had to stop because the time was running out. So it was about an hour or 40 minutes or something like that. And so, yeah, he's coming on the show, and he's actually going to do it from his studio, and he's getting his engineer in so that he's going to be able to go around his studio, hopefully, fingers crossed, if the tech prevails. And he'll be able to go around his studio where he's got synclavias and ARP 2600s and Jupiter 8s and Linn drums and all this kind of stuff. And so it's going to be 2 out. Screw the news. I don't care if somebody comes out with, an amazing, a CS80 clone for £1. We won't be covering it. We're just going to be talking to Anthony.
That sounds brilliant.
And that is going to happen. We give you the date because it's in a few weeks' time. It's actually the Friday before I go away on holiday, so it's going to be a close run thing. 25th of August, so it's a month away. It's 4 weeks away. Put that in your diaries. The 25th of August. Anthony Marinelli. Go and check out his YouTube channel. Go and subscribe to his stuff because it's really interesting. It's proper entertaining, but also synth nerdy at the same time. So it covers all bases. And the upside of making contact with Anthony is because Anthony is a pretty well-known and highly regarded guy for the last 50 years in the music industry in LA. He's already started saying to me, "Hey, why don't you let's get this person on?" And he's mentioning a few names who I don't want to mention until we've actually got them. But we're talking some of LA's finest studio guys from the last 4 decades.
Helen Mirren
as well, yes.
Hell of a synthesist.
Yeah, she has a big synthesizers.com rig.
Happy
apparently, at
birthday,
home.
Helen.
Yeah. Is it her birthday?
Yesterday.
Was it really? Look at that. All the good people have their birthdays in July.
Oh, God, I've been listening to that all day yesterday.
And you know what it is? Because if you go 9 months back from July, it's just when the cold starts setting in, you see. And so that's why people... Yeah. So, yeah, Anthony Bloomin' Marinelli will be on this show. Somebody else with an I at the end of their name, which is very nice to hear. But, yeah, he will be here on the 25th of August, and I cannot wait. That's going to be super, super cool. And we are working on others as well. And we'll get some regulars back as well, hopefully,
Hurrah!
as we lead up to the end of the year. So, yeah, Anthony Marinelli, 25th of August, right here on the Pro Synth Network show. Go and check his channels out. Andrew's already put the link in there. Anthony Marinelli Music. And then I think the other channel is Stories in the Room, which was the kind of the thriller focused thing. One of the recent ones was they showed how they did the bass line for, is it Billie Jean, which is 4 instruments layered up: synclavier, mini Moog, Art 2600,
Bontempi.
and the Bontempi. Yeah. But he talks to Kevin Maloney as well about the. He talks to Kevin Maloney recently about the Beat It intro, which of course was copied from the Danny Yeager's demo on the blue vinyl synclavier demonstration record. And also about the bass in Smooth Criminal, which is that really big, fat, punchy kind of that, and how that was a synclavier and a mini Moog.
Was it?
Yep.
Oh, great bass sound.
Yes,
It is a good sound, yeah.
really
Great
good
bass
stuff.
sound.
Well, the Billie Jean sounds pretty good as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
honest.
Some really interesting stuff. Honestly, I'm so excited. So excited.
So am I now.
Yeah, he said, I'll get my engineer in. We'll set a multicam thing up. I'm like, what? This is amazing. But he has been blown away by the response to his channel, and I'm not at all surprised that it's had the response, because he's such a well-respected person, but also he's so nice,
Yeah.
So yeah. Working for you. See, this is what your YouTube donations goes for. This is what you get back. Great guest. Anyway, we now gone over.
Oh.
We've done our 2 hours almost. Super. We've got two more minutes to go, I think, officially, because we were a little bit late starting, but that's okay. So we will be back same time, same place next week. No illustrious guests next week, unless of course we can manage to wangle something in between. But at the moment, it'll just be the 4 of us again, I guess. If Andrew, if you want to come back,
Yay!
there
Yes,
we go.
do.
So because I kind of like this dynamic. I'm enjoying this. So that's good.
We have to get him a bloody T-shirt, mate.
Yeah.
Well, Ben,
oh,
you and
we
I will
all
have
get
to-
that shirt. Where did you get the shirt? We could all get that.
What, the bullet holes in the glass? Well, what you do is you take a blue T-shirt and then you shoot someone 3 times in the chest.
Oh, I thought it was electrocuted sperm.
Yeah.
I
It
see
is.
now. It's
It
the other way
is.
round. Right.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Anyway, so Ben, what have you got lined up for this weekend? Anything special? Or are you
I am
back?
gigging tomorrow in Rotherham, a venue called Cutler's. It sounds a bit like a pub, but it's not. It's a music venue kind of
Nice.
gaff. So I'm looking forward to that. That'd be quite nice. Not been up to Rotherham for a while, and this seems like
It's
the
next to
best
Sheffield,
venue
isn't
we've it? Played up there so far.
Is it
Yeah.
close to Sheffield?
Yeah. It's very, very close proximity to Sheffield,
yeah.
but like never confuse the two.
Indeed. Oh, brilliant. Excellent. Good stuff. How about you, Mr. Longhurst? Anything lined up for the weekend and the week ahead?
I've got passports that we need to renew, and I can't forget that. And I'm meeting up with someone who wants me to be in a band with them and produce the bit and all that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking about it. I'm just so busy. I don't, kind of, if you're going to do it, you need to have the time to do it properly. But I am tempted. I am very tempted.
At least sound them out. Go for it and have a...
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Until they discover I can't play worth a shit. But apart from that, yeah.
No, I'm sure
Doesn't
you
matter.
can.
Don't worry about that.
It's never held Ben back.
I used to play with Ben Simpson.
That bad.
Gary Glitter, innit? Mr. Spong, what's your weekend shaping up like?
Well, I've got to do an assessment on the CS80. I've got to finish this VCS3. I have the ETI 3600 to finish, a WASP to rebuild, start tearing down 2 memory Moogs and 3 rugby matches to watch. That's
And
tomorrow.
then tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
I never had you down as a rugby fan, Ken. So
Oh, it was Fiona. It was Fiona.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only sports that I was ever interested in had V8s in the front of them, and she got me into rugby, and I got into rugby, union, not league. Not league.
Yeah, legally.
Or is it? I can't.
No,
Union.
she's a union girl. I know that much.
Union.
It is union, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Rugby league's like Northern. It's like right Northern. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rugby
so-
union's a bit posher, isn't it?
I'm not a massive rugby fan, but yeah, I prefer union over league.
Yeah.
any day.
But the hardest thing to do tomorrow would be diagnosing what's wrong with that wasp and putting it all back together. Because they are just.
I usually deal with wasps
Hell.
with a SWAT. You know, just go,
Yeah, this is it. Cause the classic one when we had, I think the guy put it up on the website where the guy phoned up and goes, "I've got a problem with a wasp," and I said, "Roll up a newspaper and smack it really hard."
It didn't work. The filter's
No.
still playing up.
Yep, bloody thing.
well, I'm going to watch a game of football tomorrow. Proper sport, soccer.
Yes.
My team is it's the last game of pre-season. We're playing Olympiacos, who are a very, very good European team. They're coming to Norwich, and it's my birthday tomorrow, so that's what we're going to do. Watch a game of footy, come home with a Chinese takeaway, and just sit on the sofa getting fat and drunk, basically.
Love it.
So looking forward to that. And then next week, there are some new things coming out, which I've had to do lots of writing for. One of which I've got to finish this weekend, which is going to be a bit difficult because I think. But it's some interesting stuff coming. So if you want to hear about those, then come and join us next Friday.
So
It was a good interview
ChatGPT.
you did with Dina.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I
it
like
was.
that. That's good
It
fun.
was.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, it's always nice when because obviously I've known Dina for such a while now, and you know we just talk. You know, it's just like two friends talking. So maybe that's what's done. But I've also got two more, at least two more that are in the can. And the one I did an interview on Monday or Tuesday this week. It was Tuesday with, and I can't say who it is, and I really want to say who it is, but a hugely influential person in the music industry from this country, who, it just blew my mind talking to the guy is,
Get
was
a
a-
bit blushy here now.
I was a little
Look
bit
at him.
starstruck, shall we say? I know, well, you know. And I'll tell you what I have been thinking, because people have been talking about Synthfest and shows and other things coming up soon. I've really been thinking about Super Booth next year and how we're going to do it bigger and better. So,
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
That'd be
Can you hear this?
I can hear something groaning in the background.
Noah,
Is it Fiona again?
Noah whinging because he wants to go down the stairs and he doesn't trust his legs anymore.
Oh,
I have to carry him up the
feels.
stairs.
Let's
Yeah, the thing
let
is-
Daddy go, shall we? So
No,
we can
my
carry
leg is as buggered as his is. The arthritis has started apparently.
dear. Oh, no.
So, yeah.
Oh dear.
Let's not get into
Old
that one.
bastard.
No,
Yeah.
indeed. All right, and gents, look, it's been a fantastic 2 hours as always. Thank you so much for giving up your time and spending it with us. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks to all the watchers and the viewers, whether you're watching live or whether you're catching up. And thank you also to the Penguin of Death for sparing our lives once more.
Thank you,
so we
Penguin
can
of
do
Death.
this. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Penguin.
And we will be back same time, same
Righty-ho.
place next week. Have a fantastic weekend, whatever it is that you're doing. Enjoy it, stay safe, and we will see you next Friday on the Process Network show live. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.